Good morning, Ian Crouch with your 8:30 Hunter News update. The Hunter Valley is on flood watch with more rain expected across the region today. Major flooding is occurring at Bulga and Wollombi above the March flood levels, with river levels at Bulga the highest recorded since the massive 1952 floods. Major flooding is likely at Singleton this afternoon and moderate flooding is possible at Maitland. SCS Deputy Incident Controller Andrew Fletcher says residents living along the Hunter River at Glenridding, Dunolly, Whittingham, Scott's Flat and Combo were told to evacuate by 11 o'clock last night.
We issued an evacuation order last evening for the surrounding area around Singleton. They took place last night, and Singleton, as currently predicted, is that major flooding may occur along the Bulga and Wollombi, and Singleton is likely to be major flooding from Wednesday afternoon onwards.
The SES says residents of Gilliston Heights are now cut off, with Cessnock Road closed due to water and debris over the road. Hundreds of households are also without power around Broke, Wollombi and further south around Wyong, and could be off the grid until Friday afternoon. Trains are also not running between Cardiff and Wyong and Newcastle interchange to Scone and Dungog due to flooding. SES volunteers have again been busy with flood rescues overnight. In the most serious case, 4 people were trapped on the roof of their car at Nulkabar, including a 20-year-old woman who lapsed into unconsciousness due to hypothermia. She'd earlier been complaining of chest pains following recent heart surgery. Rescuers took about an hour to bring all 4 to safety. 2 paramedics treated the woman before she was taken to hospital in a stable condition. There are train disruptions today across the Hunter after the Fair Work Commission rejected an application by the state government to temporarily stop industrial action by the rail union. Rail workers are still refusing to operate foreign-built trains and had been threatening to keep up to 75% of the fleet off the tracks. However, the union has backed down and will operate more than 60% of the fleet. Inspectors from the Department of Primary Industries are continuing to find new outbreaks of the deadly varroa mite in Hunter beehives. The number of infested premises has risen to 24, with 5 new sites identified yesterday at Anna Bay, Heather Bray, Williamtown, Mayfield and Lambton. Newcastle Council is set to celebrate NAIDOC Week with a new film exploring the story of how local Indigenous languages were preserved 200 years ago. Birrabarn and Threckhold is showing at the Civic Theatre this week, as well as another free film and other cultural events across the city. Councillor Peter Winnie-Bart says it's important we pay respect to the Hunters' rich past.
I think the response to events like this shows the thirst people have for knowledge and education about our Indigenous history and the local people that were first here.
A major Indigenous artwork has been commissioned to be placed on the Fernley-Awabakal shared track. The work will include sculptures of traditional gunya shelters, bark canoes and Aboriginal campsites. Council's Manager of City Projects, Adam Wakeman, says the artwork will serve as a reminder to locals and tourists of the history of the site.
We're hoping that once this is open, it'll help with tourism, activation of the area, as well as being just an iconic recreational pathway for people to get out and get active.
2NURFM Sport.
The Newcastle Jets will go up against fellow A-League side Adelaide United in the round of 32 of the Australia Cup on July 30 at McDonald Jones Stadium. Newcastle Olympic take on Melbourne City 4 days later at No. 2 Sports Ground, while Broadmeadow travels to Victoria to play the Bentley Greens on July 21. Knights hooker Jayden Brayley will make his first appearance in the NRL this year in Friday's game against Souths in Newcastle. He's returning from an Achilles injury suffered during pre-season training and will take his place on the bench. Chris Randall will again wear the number 9 jersey. And Charlestown Azzurri have the chance to take the outright lead in the Northern New South Wales NPL this Saturday when they take on the last placed Adamstown Rosebud. With joint competition leaders Broadmeadow and Maitland facing off against each other, Charlestown will be hoping to improve their goal difference with a solid win over the struggling Rosebud side. And the winning numbers in Oz Lotto are 2, 17, 20, 22, 29, 31 and 41, and the supplementaries are 7, 18 and 36. And now you're up to date with the latest 2NURFM Hunter News.